모두 제대로 봐도 제 진바도 봐보 소나요 대접이 예 대비 찍어 삼살로 딱반도 차를 이제 기행이 손으로 이제 찍도도 초절 봐 시절 출로 삼살로 돌네 돌이 라면 똥 라바다라 랍도 그 생각도 봐요 돼 겐들로야 삼살로 도진 자제들에 나로다 마밤이라 지게 거보바 파모도 봐 자만 동바 가줄로만 남라서 와인데 뭐 까다 주야 넘버도 별로 러드듯이 시도 짓고 그용들 제일로만 저 저점도 지절로서 와데 성성아 받게 좋아다 도몽 종성의 소진 종성화 성면념이 타송에 돈이 매매 흔전을 봐줘 어서선 동안 전다 조진치 야송매 봉지와 지라서 생진도도 녀다 단치나 담바 조진은 더 따르소 되니 다 각자 오랑토도 줘봐 대 휴아래 되나 드리면 망시가 하고 요래 같이 싸워봤더니 오랑토도 줘봐야 뭐 하마오나 하고 숨해야 돼 오랑토도 줘봐야 돼 랑게 생겨 내려로 철 때나 랑그 생군 내용 통기 시바테 이걸 내 당보바 있는 오 나는 남또 강차와대 강차게도 오만데 샤크는데 샤크는 신이 시요래 지심이 대무 맞은 거더니 공부시에 빠져도 핀바요 말해 근데 같이 뭐 마실요나 라반 남는 땅오 내 하고 맞은 라반 남는 땅 거도 뭐 시바나 참에 오 라반 남는 땅고 말해 오차만 오시는 땀이 돼. 뭐 마시봐요나. 뭐 마시봐라고 하면 땅기나. 뭐 마시봐 가세도 양자 용용지 쇼고래. 죄송아. 뭐랑 토도 좁아 돼.
So we've explained the first word, which is the introduction to the directly into the face of Rigpa in itself, and so that is basically the introduction to the nature of mind, which is a very important point, and that people need to get, you know. And so it is possible that people have got that, and some people still have some questions, doubts about it. But it is very important. It is crucial because when we are practicing, then it is said that we need to look at the mind and to look into the nature of mind or the nature of the thoughts. Whenever a thought arises, then we look into the nature of the thoughts. But then, if we haven't been introduced to the nature of mind, if we didn't get that, then there's not much benefit. There's not much point in practicing in this way. So it is important that first, we've received this introduction. We're clear about that first point, which is introducing directly into the nature of Rigpa in itself. And so that's why Rinpoche says he's asking people to who haven't got that fully, feel that they didn't get that first point clearly, what is the nature of mind, and have that clearly to raise their hand. And people who got that don't need to raise their hand, but can the people who feel that this first point is not so clear for them, can they please raise their hand, and maybe Rinpoche would explain a little bit more to make sure that this is clearly established for everybody.
Okay.
Those who didn't get it, yeah?
ngô tōya kōrāngi, ngā ngō tō māsōng sāṃ tāraṃ tētōṃ sāgā yore, tētōṃ tē dū jī, nībzī kī dū rē, tē tīmok rē, tētōṃ sāṃ kī tē tā kō rē, ngō tō māsōng sāṃ kī tē rē chik tā tā, kō kāwā dōk tē rē, tē tōngpa chā rō rē, kōrāng rē, ngō mā tū tāwā rī yō mā rē, ngō shī mā shī rāng kī tētōṃ mā jī nē, dē rī sī, tētōṃ tē rē jī, tē tā kō rē. 대리 즉 따다 제 동바 차로리 당원 부처로
Actually, it's very simple, and it's true. When we explain about meditation, about introduction, there's a lot of details, a lot of explanations are given, and sometimes we can be a bit lost in all those explanations. But actually, it is very simple, and so to explain that, or to say that again, so very simply, that the one who's thinking, well, I don't recognize the nature of mind. I haven't been introduced to the nature of mind. Is this the nature of mind or not? Well, this is it. This is the mind itself. And so what you do is that when you have these kind of doubts that arise, you just look at it. And if you look at it, you can't find anything. It's lost. It's emptiness. That's it. So, because when you look in this way, when you have these kind of doubts, thinking, oh, is it the nature of mind? Is it not? Am I practicing right or not? This is that you have doubts. This is I would say dualistic mind. It's just dualistic. There is a subject, there's an object. Did I get it? Didn't I get it? And so then you need to look back at the doubt itself, at the subject itself, at the doubt when you have a doubt, or am I getting it or not? Just look at the doubt. Then when you look at it, you search for it. You can't find it. This is emptiness. This is it.
Same with him like no. Not all mambos yunguri be. Oh, selbe mambo yunguri. Mambo yunga te mare. Mambo yunga no the shimki shiba korani. Oh, the shimki the gari certain trico. Dong the char holano. 어떻게 똥바 잡았대 맘통한테 통 쇼도 거기 통고도 지금 류메는 통고는 대 말이야 통하는 말이야 통도 매와든 통송을 찾았지 몰라 통도 매와든 통거를 해야 돼 근데 가리들 신경이 시발 쳤대나 꼭 따사요면 된 남카를 차로 다 뒤뒤 통고요래 대들이 셈을 찍다 된 통니 사면 통송들라고 하자 들이 만통은 양자를 양 만통을
반대
예 대들이 찍다나 들이 고들 남성 하고로 오 당간 통송사 이 시제로 와 들라고 하자 단 통송들라고 하자
When we practice, we try to practice, then all sort of thoughts can arise. When we start to look at our mind, we see all those destructive emotions, all those thoughts that are in the mind. And the thing is that we shouldn't, it's not to look at each one of them and to try to see that each one is empty, but there's one who is aware of all those thoughts, There's this awareness, this mind is aware of all the different thoughts, of all the destructive emotions. So you look at the one who is aware. Whenever there's all those thoughts that arise when you try to practice, and then you're aware of all those thoughts and think that you're not practicing, or you just look at the thinker. And when you look at the thinker in this way, you can't find it. You get lost. It is not found anywhere. And that's it. That's the introduction. So, and as it says in the Mahamudra, is the it is with the non-seeing that you'll be seeing, Non-seeing is seeing. So that is in this meditation. When you search for it, you can't find it. and that is the supreme seeing. So when again, when you look, when all the thoughts, when you try to practice and thoughts arise, then you need to look at the thinker, at the one who's having all those thoughts, that is aware of all those thoughts. When you're aware of thoughts, then just look at the one who is aware, can't find it. That's it. That's the introduction. So now I think it's a bit clearer. So, and I think that you can experience that right now. So please, can the people who got it now can raise their hand? To this explanation you've tried, this explanation I've just given. You look at the thinker, and then so who got it now?
다만 도봐요 왜?
So, is there still some people who don't get it? Please raise your hand. I mean, genuine question. Don't be afraid. Everybody got it?
짜와님은 통지 요 말이 매일 직장 말이 요저대 노아를 녹 사마를 요래 몇지 요네 요래대 통구 요 말이 막 통지 말이까 면 통마종도 빼나 나게 나 통고대니 고조잡지 가도 잡을링 잘라 내가 말봐 지금 고조잡지 콜 치랑리지 옹하리 오케이
This the problem is just that we don't see it. This is the nature of mind. We all have that. All sentient beings have the nature of mind, have this nature, and even the smallest insect, all human beings, everybody has that nature within ourselves, and so it is not to search for it outside, but it is within ourselves. And the problem is just that even though we have it, we don't see it. We're just obscures, and we don't know how to look to see it. But it is inside. If we look inside, then we'll see it. It is a little bit like, if you search for, been told, if Rinpoche search for Kuncho Gyaltsen. Kuncho Gyaltsen is his name. So if Rinpoche, search for himself and goes everywhere in the world, try to search for him, until he meets this person and say, well, Kuncho Gyaltsen is you. He's here. Oh, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. No. 다 갖다 답시 이게 로벌은 냅지. 나한테 팩가서들 도고. 다 따완 통만 통들 라마다 삼나였더니 나또 라마다 지나. 나또 고보지나 랍사 팩잡좀 똥통스 노래. 똥상수 성들이 생부 내록 되라. 그 도지요 말이야. 그 생내록 남파다 버텔 직장 남파로 또야 요 말이야. 철조야 요 말이야. 남파대 남이는 남파 생부 남이 남파다 버지. 샘저랑 이 주행 남파체에서 샘 남파다 버텔더니 도지 청대. 고쳐 끼와요 뭐 판직 봐요 말이지. 들 도지 청 군두성부. 들 맹대 딱 해야지.
So last time we were so to come back to the text of the teaching. So we were discussing the syllable pet, and so when you're practicing and all sorts of thoughts arise, all sorts of emotions arise, then it is and start to kind of lead you astray and fool you into all sorts of things. Then it is important to say this pet, forcefully, as it was explained, and by saying the pet, that will liberate, those thoughts, meaning they will eliminate those thoughts. They're not there anymore. And so, but then the the pet doesn't do anything to the nature of mind. The nature of mind is not, free to liberated or eliminated through the pet, because the nature of mind is unchanging and cannot be destroyed or changed. And so the main, as it says, the nature of mind is the great expanse of the Dharmadhatu. And so this great expanse of the Dharmadhatu is unchanging, and so through the pet we won't be able to liberate or eliminate, touch in any way the nature of mind. But what will be liberated are the thoughts, the nam-tok, those obscuring thoughts or experiences. And so because this great nature of mind, this great expanse of the nature of mind, is also called sometimes Vajradhara, or is called Samantabhadra. Those are names that are given to the great expanse of the nature of our mind.
곰장이 제시지시 뉴몽바 드리 직디 주제 체르송을 배 자동으로 똑바 체르로 돼 직디비 냠레세 퍼체 직디는 대배 냠나 다 무시 통그래 삼선을 배 열기다 배 잡을래 자가잖아 담지 심리 살고 땅 앞에 곰배 아치 보인 소리 제일 가기 우리 직디는 대배 냠데 되게 탐지디 춘이 냠 장보 찬라 데려 심바다 냠민바 찬라 다왕 맞으러 곰잖아. 패자 또토고 그래서 직진 대표 냠지나 무시 그렇다. 넌 저면다더니 겨우라. 양사가 롱딩 거리. 오 가도 뭐 덤지 용도 처럼 배도 토브레 다 처럼 그 도중지들이 남으라. 용거리 대 파체 들이 이나선 때는 싸워 빙가면서 다 제샤.
So yesterday in the text it was mentioned of the mundane and super mundane experiences, and Rinpoche didn't comment on them because he didn't remember what they were. But today, just to explain, he thought about it and he thinks that he remembers now, and he feels that so Rinpoche says, I feel that the mundane experience refer to the kind of experience that are mixed with destructive emotions, all the experience of desire, aversion, and so on. Those kind of worldly experiences. And the super mundane experiences are experiences that we can have, for example, as a result of meditation, like presciences, and be able to see past life or future lives, or to see, places like you can see the whole of India and China, and those things can happen in the meditation. And we think, I have this extraordinary experience, I must have become quite a good practitioner now, and that kind of thing. So even if it's a good experience like this, then we should say pet, and destroy the experience. So all those experiences that are related to this kind of super natural abilities, such as seeing past lives or future lives and so on, or if you have like dakinis coming to you and tell you that you've become such a great and accomplished master now and a realized practitioner. Those kind of experience can happen in the practice, and at that time also it is important to destroy it by means of a pet.
근데 이제 주도 매배 주미를 봐는 이말이네 이게 말이 주미를 봐래 난 주면서 한참 주미 이렇게 뭐 주주가 말이지 가도는 돼 주미 이렇게 봐 상탈에 와도 또 나빠 탐체도 좋아라 냠자 지톱 곰 타데도 메베지 자번은 냠자 지톱 타데 메스 강리 냠자가 갑고 냠용그 제시 봐요 바테 지탑지 바데 쪼랑 탐체를 제시 봐요 바테 찌빠찌짱 좋다고래 그는 곰자 냠자 갑니 다 랑고나 되게 갈래 야랑 되니 곰자네도 되니 찜바당 곰자네 찜바당 곰자 갈라사 되니 곰다 쪼랑 탐체 세 톡고래 디스는 냠자 지탑니 가가지야 요 말했어 곰 찌빠찌 고래서
When you do not lose this vital point of personal experience and you maintain that indescribable, all-penetrating Rigpa all the time and in every situation, formal meditation and post-meditation will no longer be distinct. So as the root text says, with no difference between meditation and post-meditation. So when we're practicing, so in the informal session, so there is meditation is so with the mindfulness, the awareness, and the vigilance. And when those are there, we are able to liberate the thoughts, and so that is when we are practicing. But it is important that even when we are not in the session of practice, in between session, that we bring that also. In the same way that during the practice session, awareness, mindfulness and vigilance are able to liberate all those thoughts that arise, then in the post-meditation as well, the mindfulness, awareness and vigilance are also able to liberate those thoughts. And so it is important to bring that also to in the post-meditation, so that is, you do your session of practice, and then after the session of practice, then whatever you do, you start to get up kind of slowly, maintaining this flow of mindfulness, awareness and vigilance. As you go to the toilet, then you maintain that. As you go to eat, and whatever you do, you maintain that vigilance, awareness, mindfulness, so as to really bring the two together, so that the meditation and post-meditation are mixed together, brought together. And so because they shouldn't be separated. There's no point in keeping them separate, and they shouldn't be separated. So very much bring together, so there is no difference, as it's in the text, between meditation and post-meditation. I mean sessions of meditation and breaks in between.
튼다 튼상 예와 메시 튼다 튼상 찌빠지스 대달 곰바 곰바 랑네 살위시 초준저 남조 곰저 빠자메래 연석 찌찌짜 메바네 저게더 곰마 용당 드라마 용 무곰 동당 멈라와 시바 동인베 이밍 저네 아티 gomba chenpo ya sebu nero tena napa tomba te sa tong tingane dekho gangwa gomgu yo ma te gomba ati gomba de gom chimo te re yaksu te re 강용 gomba sem sa tong song de pa de gom chimo re rangne sarwe yi o te sem rang nelo le yin khatang yini leba ma인지 yini tsarde yopa ma인 mami gyule jiba ma인지 sapa maresi rang jodo sengu nelo jodo te yoresi ta terang hako yoresi rangni sarwe yishide sawadina tongbaji be namkata o ngzongme ba de sarwa cho junji namjordina o te rang gyong nina ko juncheji yomani 코와 토마 메바니 다바르 유체주요 뭐 다양한 상계에 살려면 그 유체주요 말이에요. 베테다 초 유진 남절 곰저 뻗삼 메라 곰지 직장 메 sem사동은 미소자 대야마도 곰지 뻗삼 메라 연속의 직장 메바네 저와네 오 진시랑 뭐시 봐 대욕니 말이에요. 곰지양 매래 연기와 매들 뒤지 봐요 봤대 라니가 말했대 제발 봐 조금 말했어 디선은 잡았는데 고만용당 잘만용지 먹으면 동동만 잡아 싶어 동인배 예민 하나 줬는데 Corner person.
So it says that is why the meditation in sessions and the meditation when you are active during breaks are not separate. So there is no division between sessions and break. And it says, in this great meditation with nothing to meditate on, the continuous river-like yoga of inherent, even and all-pervasive wisdom, there is not even a hair's breadth of anything to meditate on, nor an instant of distraction. This is what is meant by the saying, neither do I ever meditate, nor am I ever separate from it. So I have never been separate from the true meaning of non-meditation. So it says, in this great meditation with nothing to meditate on. So when practicing in this way, there is no object, there is nothing to meditate on, and so therefore it is just resting in the unity of there's just the unity of clarity and emptiness. And so this is the meditation. So in that this is a great meditation, it says. That is the supreme kind of meditation. When there is no meditation, we do not meditate on anything, just resting in its state of the unity of a clarity and emptiness. That is the greatest meditation. So that's why here it's called the great meditation with nothing to meditate on. And so we need to, and this, so in that great meditation with nothing to meditate on, then what we do is that we maintain the continuous river-like yoga of inherent, even and all-pervasive wisdom. So it is we maintain this continuous flow of the practice, and that is. This because actually this nature of mind has always been within us, from the beginning of samsara, from the beginning of this time, it has always been within us, never separate from us. And so it is just to abide with that continuously in the same way. And so abiding by what? By this inherent, even and all-pervasive wisdom. So inherent, that means that, it is not something that was outside, that was given to us or anything like that. It is just been within ourselves from the very beginning. And so this, realizing that wisdom that always been inherent within us is the nature of mind, and resting in that, or maintaining the continuity of the awareness of this. And so it is even an all-pervasive wisdom. It is also at the same time emptiness and all-pervasive. And so in that there is he says, not even a hair's breadth of anything to meditate on. Means there is absolutely nothing to meditate on, and that is just relaxing in that state. And there is also an instant of distraction. So even though there is nothing to meditate on, yet there is mindfulness, there is awareness, there is vigilance, and there is but there is no distraction. So that is the what is meant here by the. That there is no division between the sessions and the break, and that this meditation actually is the non-meditation. This is the great meditation that is non-meditation.
Kanza rap tudur kikabirkina semi ramzong ishi dune toba chajeti ramsasimbe ne tiz kikare wachi bade kami yungde kiwa ngama 니들이 람드 말씀나 람들이 산촉생기 주린이란 게 그도 산촉스는 데와 진보 그래 들다다 기완데라 틀람상 시행 그래 니 직접 바라는 기반 이제 직진성공의 송네 참아는 기반이지 강의는 몇째 들에 직접자와 있나 기암하마게 쓰는 거 소사 뒤 소를 뛰는 들에서도 하고 그러지 때는 기반이지 기암하마 소마사바 간사게 동도가 말이지 마도마디 튀어터지 말이지 소마사 얘는 참아 그런 기반이 있어 된서 그때 동문에는 제일 다다 직접 받으니 열에 요는데 기암하마 소사 이바데가 제와 진보 3년기 15 그래요 그래서 대나 드니 semni ramzong yishi de rang semte sanchok semne din samma cha de res danji chungchung chana sewa chimbo lapsang semunde lo ka ko res pen chör samma sang sewa yuna nyumo ba shida yo mar ba pen me sewa chimbo ji no ko ro shida yo mar cha do yo mar mil sewa yo re sewa de sem samma cha de 중국 사람들이 초대 남상하는 것이 동쪽으로 와 빼대다고 대치 잡버리기 있으나 세미 남성의 시대 랑그 센데 누니 좁은 차지티 랑사선에 대 랑사선 봐도 랑그 셈상와 대지 한번 막 키워랬다. 이렇게 기버려.
If someone is a suitable and receptive vessel for the unique path of Dzogpa Shenpo, just as the teaching themselves intend, and he or she belongs to the instantaneous type of person who is liberated upon hearing the teaching, so to explain a bit the instantaneous type of person, says that there are those who can take hold of the intrinsic state through the basis of all that arises, which is the nature of mind, the naturally arising wisdom that has always been free. And so that is, so Khenpo Munsa what he writes, but to explain a little bit, to unpack that a little bit, it says that those who are able to readily liberate in the basis of arising, the basis out of which everything arises, that is the nature of mind, then those which, in other words, also the self-arisen primordial wisdom of the nature of mind, then are those of superior capacity, or it says of instantaneous realizers, those who realize instantaneously the view of Dzogchen when introduced. And as you know, there are those two different types of individuals that are distinguished in the Dzogchen teachings: those who realize instantaneously, immediately, and those who are progress stage by stages. Who develop more progressively on the path, and that the great master, and this is actually the why the people who are able to realize instantaneously, those instantaneous realizers, if you want, it is due to their past accumulations. Because of their accumulations in the past, in their past lives, then in this life they are able to realize immediately. And the great Kagyu master Jigten Sungun said that we all develop progressively, including those who are instantaneous realizers, because those who are instantaneous realizers, it is the result of their accumulation in past lives, and so they have also developed progressively. It is only that at this stage then they get it quickly, but it is the result of all the work that they've done in the past, all the accumulations that they've done. Because without the accumulation of merit and the generating of bodhicitta and so on, the accumulation of wisdom and the absolute bodhicitta, there's no way that we'll be able to realize the nature of mind, to actualize the nature of mind within ourselves. And so it is very much based on the two accumulations. And so that and and particularly so the cultivating of the bodhicitta, of the great compassion, that is as one of the greatest way of accumulating merit. And in terms of, so to explain a little bit, that is, if someone is readily able to realize, to actualize this self-arisen primordial wisdom of the nature of mind, that is, so again, as a result of having accomplished the accumulations, and for example, so as we say, cultivating bodhicitta, the great compassion of the mind of enlightenment. When you do that, when you have this when you're someone who has great love, readily loving people, then there's not so much grasping in your mind. There's not so much attachment to grasping. And so therefore, it is much easier to realize, to actualize this nature of mind, this primordial wisdom of the nature of mind. When you really when you've cultivated the bodhicitta, and you're a very loving person, then destructive emotions don't really stay in your mind. You don't have so much destructive emotions. Just, immediately, quite quickly, it's just loves that, comes out for people. And so in this context, it is much easier to realize the inherent nature of our mind. And it is the example of, it is like of water, If a water is very pure and clean, then you can drink it immediately. You don't have to purify it, do anything to it. You can just drink it. And so it's the same also if the mind has been purified in this way. It's a pure mind that is very prone to love and compassion. Then the introduction can take place very easily.
생군나 기억하면 제와랩들이 뭐지 첫 차원을 차대 요래 남도 당신 차롬다 그래 남도 강샤 당신 되나 첫 차원은 차롬답나 남상 효로 그러나 강샤리 쩌랑 당신 차치 춘이 이제 남로도 샤와라지 남도 차롬다고 첫 차원은 답나 효로 그래 기억하면 쓰는 거 초자다다 셈을 제와미나 초점못하들 초점못하는 처럼는 가리 뭐 휴고 말아 삐띠더리 들이 랍될 때 공하고 와 균이 나버들 쳤하고 저런 거 쇼서는 들이 쳐 나버를 나세 마음은 리밤 나세 이제 로르치 뭐 어떤 이때 조르치 받았다 처럼 쇼서래 남도 식성네
So the two accumulations are like hot water, and all the thoughts, concepts that we have, all the namtok, are like ice. And if you put ice in hot water, it immediately melts, But if you have a mind that hasn't been really trained in the two accumulation, then it's more like cold water. Very cold water. When you put the ice in very cold water, it doesn't melt, it just stays there. So it's the same. That's the example to illustrate that process. That when we practice, it says all phenomena arise as the display of that primordial wisdom, and as appearances and mind come together like mother and child, we gain the great freedom of the ground of appearances in mind. And so whatever arises then is liberated, that is in a mind that is like more like hot water, it's been so with the two accumulation, and then it has the ability to melt, whatever ice of concepts are put in it.
가장 균이 마음을 리지와다. 어살 마음을 리송하다. 저는 나세 마음을 리송 찍바래. 그런 것을 마음들이죠. 살 마음들이 다른 한세 마음들이죠. 나와서 남도로 나와서 남도로 남도 살고들 남상 남도 저밤이라 생마를 봐. 이거 요래지. 나세 마음이 봐. 이러죠.
And so the text was saying, as appearances and mind come together like mother and child. So this is the great freedom of the ground of appearances and mind. And so that is this coming together of the appearances and mind. It's like what we've described yesterday. So of the mother and child, So we talked about the meeting of the mother luminosity and child luminosity, and so it's the same here. Just use the expression of the mother and child appearances and mind, and so the appearance being the concepts, the namtok, all those things that appear, manifest, and sem, the mind is a reference here to the nature of mind, and so when the namtok so meet the nature of mind, it's like the example that was given yesterday of the mother and child meeting.
Pe kangriedina jador namjor namlang nishandras jador dina dinjing trpate helsong tari pere dinjing trpa hekdina nangbi chuke dungeli pegre지 당니 등에 매번 대화하세 가래 등에는 남도래 남도 강함진의 주 대화를 신기요 뭐 등에 가려 등에 남도라 강함진의 주 때는 강에 가려는 배 개목으로 강에 가서 주면서 동동연을 개목으로 가지 나 거등에 내지더니 생부대로 또또또 등에 마토빠 등에 충충이 빈지 받지 못들어 소체 그래 세군대로 또 등에 남도래 등에 레짐들에 저기 대반이 하고서 가는 맞이나 등에 오면래
니마게 빼간다.
빼. 자론 남조론 남랑이 찬다지.
니마
네, 빼는 남랑이만 찬다들이 상만 통과를 빼서 받지 보여라. 남랑 빼는 가디나 동의원은 뭐나는 지래. 너무는 내 마음에 빼 가는 통과 말이 내 속은 시기 말이 남랑이만 상만 통과를 했더니 빼서 받지 보여라. 선받지 보여라. 빼 선받지 보여라지다. 가디는 지 보여라지. 군도상 보지, 군도상 보더래. 군도상 보고 가디나 주지 보여라서. 주 대화나 지 보여라. 주 동해요나 지 보여라. 돼.
The yogin, so as it is said, the yogin who is free of all limitation is like the sun rising at dawn. So the sun. So this is the example for liberating the grasping at happiness, or well-being or joy, and because. Normally, so we consider that we want happiness, we don't want the suffering, that kind of aversion. But then, if we realize that the suffering is just namtok, just a thought, is just those thought that arise in the mind and nothing more, then even in the midst of suffering, then you'll be smiling, you'll be happy, because you see the kind of how empty they are, and they're not really solid as we normally think. But then if you don't realize that, people who do not realize this, then even small kind of suffering can really affect them. And so the example is like the suffering is like the darkness, And so when the sun is rising, so there's no more suffering, because when you realize that, even when you realize that all suffering are just namto, just expression of the nature of mind, then in that then there's no real. It's just you're just happy even amidst experiences of suffering, because of realizing that. So it is a little bit like the sun rising and dispelling the darkness. Basically, your mind is always happy.
시바다 또바 자주 시주 띵종 띵종조 또바 자주지나 생구 딘딘데메 생구 딘딘데메나 tani namto kanchi tabje ke semte repto ko yon mari tari hiju tin ros
Realization will be free of limitation, and the mind stream freed in a lasting way. That is, realizations will be free of limitations. That is, that there won't be any more grasping at the reality of things. And so when resting in that state, there's no more grasping at the reality of things. And since there is no more grasping at the reality of things, then our mind stream, our mind, is freed in a lasting way.
난생 미저로 침보 기샤리 죽고 요랑선 전에 곰자 열당 곰지 로미장 대레힘베 따와시 시나 non troppe jiwangde jo ba kami rimji ba kaza nam tiba mathop je parde mayosum di jo bone gom gupe na som ta tari tudorchik charperin ji na na to kan charte zaba me ba ram yi shik tu ko yore te chi charpare te tar mai pe karmi rimji ba kaza nam tiba mathop je parde ko karpa mi je na 그래서 산촉sem도 공중매봐. 지와한마 산촉sem도 공중매봐. 까빠미 봐서 다다 유라 인핑을 로충충 난진 침보. 대까빠미 봐에. 저도 라랑 소주 생기를 때 오가 난진 뭐 인핑으로 화정 충충했잖아. 다티 인핑으로 슉다 그래. 까빠서 뭐 남기게 저쪽. 까빠서 뭐 가래리. 인핑을 침보로 상니지 침보 때 까빠서 뭐 상하가 누더라고. 상니지면 저하가 누더 말하는 거는 까빠 미바연한테 소소소소라다나 대니 단지진게 단지다 상시지 총총 가자이나 때 메었음 되지고 공고스 다 이유는 뭐 곰다다 다고 추래 다고 하고서는 다고 야잖아 되니 이유 뭐 속체 뭐 단지게 이유 뭐게 접다 다와서 속매가 차도 그래 대성지 띠만 맞춰도 바로 공고스
So, for a person who belong to the instantaneous type of person who is liberated upon hearing the teachings, then perception and thoughts are the supreme ground for liberation, and anything that happens becomes the flow of the Dhammakaya. There is nothing, no object to meditate on, and no mind to meditate. So that is for those of those instantaneous type, those of superior capacity. They can liberate anything, and in that there is no mind that meditates, no object that is meditated upon. Yet they liberate all the thoughts that happen, that come. Everything that happens is liberated. It says in the everything becomes the flow of Dhammakaya. Others, however, who are less fortunate and who still fall prey to delusory thinking, such as that there is some other view to understand, and so on, must find stability in gradual stages. Until they do so, they must engage in the practice of meditation by means of the three miyowas. So those who are not of this, who don't have this capacity, who are not instantaneous type of person, it says who are less fortunate people here. So that refers to people who haven't trained their mind in their past lives, in the precious mind of enlightenment, in the bodhicitta, and as a result have strong grasping, make strong differences between themselves and others, and so that is the and so that corresponds to those who don't have that kind of capacity, those who are called here less fortunate. And so we need to see also for ourselves, and if we see that we don't have so much of a we are not so much turned towards others, that we have so much preoccupations that are very much about ourselves and don't really extend our care and interest to others, or do that in a somewhat limited way, then it is important to recognize that and to do something about it, and to think, I really need to develop that kind of thought of altruism, kind of altruistic thoughts and thoughts of compassion and so on. I need to really work on it, So we need to be honest with ourselves on this. And so those who are less fortunate need to find the stability in gradual stages by practicing the meditation by means of the three miyawas. And so by resting in meditation, what it does is that slowly all the grasping, it kind of reduces the grasping. When you stay, you practice in three miyawas, then whatever happens, then you liberate that, so that reduces the grasping that by practicing in this way. And people also need to practice in this way so as to gain stability. So that is developed gradually through the practice.
Tiba matopa de gomse mram jin gu de nimin hawa ramje de nam kha lom de ji so to wa to ye so musa shawa de musa nam jor pa yi ma zin ma kwang ku jor ma de mram jin gu so tani ning kar je nawa maing pa de cha na tani tin sin mram gu ka mram sing go re mram zona tambo tani mram dira 내가 섬소 세바전에서 이제 가게 나와 미들들이 소마 파니 그 뭐람 민거 요래 뭐람 민거지 뭐람이 봐 하고 이제 가고 지시리더니 뭐람 언제 뭐람리지 뭐람을 하고 그래 제 섬에서 알았어 드니 뭐람데 존에 드니 특름 라미르샤 깔람 말람 나람 통제 시린 쳐와대 찍바인 있어. 드니 전마 매와 차거려. 니톡 거비들이 남파 로디 지지도 더 남파라. 님마 나와 깔마 강연 매와게. 드니 남파 혼팅팅 토랑 드니 용구요래. 토랑 남파 야타 바타서 지금이 남도 참아 체로 요래. 된 톱부에서 대신에 고물 합이 송 특부에서 체험을 거지 송
세바 인토 찌가래
세바
인토
저 세미 이 속지 세들은 가다 뜻 상황에서 세 미들은 파 일이 들으면 그 요래 소망 이디 말하면 그 요래 말람 파치에 되니 니 속각감이 되니 당보 깔람 되니 말람 되는 거또 잡아는 되니 나탐 이로 니 속지 니 속같이 속부에 살지 말람 못이나 썸매에 살았어 가시 말람 뭐시 오든 말람 레지 하고 그러나 말람이 14살고는 언제 말람 레샤지 삼성 탈라 성송 니는 아무는 언제 말람 레지 하고 그러나 대 말람 주진조 지상 부경이 대 말람 레지 하고 그래 대 썸매에 살았어 니 속을까봐 샘사우 연구 요래 넘고 가요 요 말에 된 속부에 살았어 니 속을까봐 샘도 남과도 샘도 주바리 네 이게 살지 봐도 샘구 내록 랩도 요래 샘구 내록 돌아 너또 담지 제 너또 다시 봐 샘구 내록 돌아 랩송아 근데 가요 대밤에가 저거 요래 그래서 쳐볼 거거든 저거 요래 될더니 띠삐에 남과다 버리 남과는 이마 너와 까만 가요 매와 같더니 선제 똥상에 대기를 따와도 못 봐래你看个咱这大瓦工怎么那多少一钱呢？东城都有了，这里就把嘞，这天人你那么搞了哈光这里养安通不嘞是，看看嘛嘞，
So the attainment of stability is tested by the extent of familiarity evident through dreams. Daytime appearances gradually dissolve, and if we recognize the dawning of the ground luminosity directly without the three conditions for bringing up the sky, that is proficiency in the yoga. If we do not recognize it, we will revert to ignorance or the alaya and indeterminate state. So first, it says the attainment of stability is tested by the extent of familiarity evident through dreams. So there is, we measure the development of our practice also through the dreams, and basically there are three stages. There is the stage where we are fully awake. Then there's a stage where we are sleepy, and then there's dream in this. Then all the appearances of the dream manifest. And then there's the stage of a deep sleep. So there's the awakened state, the kind of a dream state, and the deep sleep state. At which point all the dreams have ceased. And so, in during the second stage, during the dream, so it is very good if we are able to recognize that all that appears, all that manifests is just a dream. You know, that happens sometimes. You're sleeping, and then you're about to do something really unusual, and so that, you know, kind of you realize, oh, it's just a dream. And so there's those times where we can, you know, realize that it is not reality. It's just a dream. And so that to be able to recognize, to have that kind of awareness is very good. Is in that it's called the So this is the experience, the clarity experience of the clear light. It's called Salve Sel, and when we are able to recognize the dreams in this way. And then there is the stage of the deep sleep, and in this deep sleep, so all the dreams have stopped there. There is just a profound, deep state of sleep. But in that, if we're able to recognize that state, also it is said that it is the best, you know, because in that there's still the nature of mind is still there, even in a deep sleep. And so the example that is given is here we're talking about three aspects of the sky, and so those it's like it's like a sky without any sun, any moon, any stars, anything. Just like at dawn in the morning, there's absolutely nothing in the sky, and so that is this empty, vast openness, clarity. That experience. If you can recognize that in the deep sleep, it says that it's the best kind of a recognition of the clear light.
One thing my top one button something you talk Chang or something you talk Changana. You think Bamba. You think Chendi some. You think Chendi, Madame Daveri, the young, they're going to bomb Marie. Then he rugged Yamiche, the Chiva set up Mambuti, the Sanji Matop about the Yamin or it's in the deep Sabapang. Not daughter. You think Bama, not daughter, you person watch by Chendi, Deputy Jimmy, Mount and Dumas, not daughter. Not daughter. We bought him back. Never recruited to the pen and you might the terrorism. You might need some. That demon go to the lovely party when they recruited over Gomna. Recruited over Gomna, young Tilly Ranky. Told Magina. Little tool then same yellow young from up, Pinto Mari, to send my bar. You think on bars, to some summer. Someone in Yamung Giovanni Gervais. Dada Naming you told the jet on Gomus and Yamung Majeve, Dada Pony Gombachi.
That meditation must be practiced when all the conditions favorable for meditative stability are complete. That is, by renouncing the world, abandoning conceptual thought, keeping to solitude, and upholding ethical discipline. Only then will real experience occur. No matter how long you spend meditating in the midst of busyness and distraction, true meditation experience will not arise. So the root text says it is vital to meditate away from all distraction and busyness. So so we need to practice meditation formally and bringing together the necessary conditions, the favorable conditions for the meditative stability to arise. And they are, as it says here, renouncing the world, abandoning conceptual thought, which are very similar. To renounce the world, to abandon the conceptual thought, keeping to solitude. So when keeping to solitude, we need to abandon all those thoughts and very much renounce the world. Because when we stay on retreat, if we just lock ourselves up, but then so our body is in this little room there, or this kind of a limited, confined environment, and away from the vast world. But then if our mind keep going all the time there to the vast world, then there's no point. There won't be any benefit from the retreat. And so it is important that not just our body, but also our mind, be on retreat. And so that's why it said renouncing the world and abandoning conceptual thought and upholding the ethical discipline. So we very much, also apply the discipline as we stay on retreat for it to be meaningful.
Get down, we may some the Gitanang, Tony Homos also. Tungola the ni Lama Mugum. There is a something you gum. We may some things. Tamio some the Lama Pennyman carry Kong to the Mionga Jodua. Maybe also the J shot. Kong no by Silama, Kong Juku at the nature, Kaba Pap, Kong Mills of this song. The J. Lumio, the crew you wrote on my way. 아니 뭐라고没有什么啊，接一下别的啥都好，人家驴没有啊，到处就没有打了，没得呀，这那个没接触过来。啊嘛，这个帮个吉他去吧，他们。没接下去了。没有什么。
So it says, while meditating too, dividing your time into sessions and breaks. So during the sessions, what we do is that we so first we generate a devotion and invoking the Lama, the master, and then generate the bodhicitta, the precious mind of enlightenment and compassion, and then we practice the 3 miyawas. And that's where Rinpoche asked a bit of help to his monk here, because he forgot the 3 miyawas, what they were, and so he's really apologizing for that. And but he hasn't studied the Yeshe Lama like he did. So Rinpoche was asking if he could help a little bit with the 3 miyawas. In any case, so it is practicing the 3 miyawas, which is the unmoving body like the king of mountains, the unmoving senses like the planets and stars reflecting in the lake, and the unmoving nature of mind like a cloudless sky.
너저 방에 공부하지 튼탕 시네 근데 튼탕 시와데 레당 불감을 내가 맞았나 통고를 배 통통제 통고를 남들도 검사오 자 그냥 뭐지 들이 미소자디야 뒤시 당 맞아 봐지 곰 계속 세가지로 잡을 뒤서 싸우는 마냥 왔다 들이지 곰이 통통 잡 들이대 갈래 적정하지 들이지야 보여서 뒤지는 뭐지 통통왜 들이지 통통으로 곰 빼상마죠 그냥 통통 들이지도 뒤시 봐요 그 들이지 그래서 곰 통통을 빼는 감성으로 빼상마죠 곰 통통 리 곰 통통 잡나 곰이는 뭐 잡는 사람들은 저 양곰 쌍마 차고 말봐 곰이 통통 잡 들이 양곰 참자 미소자 양곰이 통통 잡 양곰 참자 뭐지 죄송.
So when practicing in sessions, so it is important also at the beginning to keep the sessions quite short, but then to be really very very concentrated during the practice. To really practice genuinely during that time. It's a short time. So for example, you have this very short time, and then you invoke from the depth of your heart the Lama, evoke the devotion, and really, without ever being distracted, really stay with that and practice in this way, and then dedicate, and then rest. While you rest, of course, try not to forget the mindfulness, awareness, and vigilance. And then again, you do another short session. So at the beginning, sessions could be like half an hour. That could be even shorter. And then, very short sessions could be like 5 minutes. But then make sure that, during the time of the session, that you really, at what you're doing and really focusing on the practice without being distracted in any way. And the advice on doing short sessions like this is given because when you do longer sessions of practice, then there's a tendency to be distracted. You start practicing and then you start to think about other things, come back a bit to the practice and, are distracted in this way. So here it is important that to really focus strongly on the practice during those short sessions, and then you'll be able to expand those the sessions. So from half an hour, then that could be even longer sessions during which you really, at what you're doing, really concentrated on the practice.
냠지 타데의 미장 당본 냠자라 삼마지나 냠용의 이시지톱 또 세미리 베 줄람 뷰질람 처럼 베버 세장 넘또 유미초버 진짜 시쇼르지 고사다인 베나 냠자 튼데지라사송 공부하는 공사오서 차나 대뉴모나 나또 이보도 숙치버렸대네 공사오 마찬가 나또 뉴모 이보도 오면 베네 저기가 저자베야 보면 강자마 답답 그래 그 진짜 뇽뇽로 파던 호소소 차로 그래 시합때 하죠 짜고 그러나 나도 내 유미 주지 드린 용모 돌토고 말이지 돌토면서 제발 기도 냠자 톤도 지엘어서 남도 규초면 곰사고면나 뉴모가 참게 타고 말이지 냠자 톤도 지엘어서 하지 자책 냠자 톤도 지엘어서 곰 통통통통 요
So, while meditating too, though there is no difference between practice in formal sessions and post-meditation, if you are not truly grounded in your meditation first, you will be unable to blend the wisdom you experience with your post-meditation. However hard you try to turn your daily life into the path, your vague and generalized understanding makes you prone to slip back into your old negative patterns and habits. And therefore, the root text says, practicing in proper meditation sessions. That is, that if your meditation is not clear, then you won't be able to liberate the whatever thought and destructive emotion arise. Whenever a destructive emotion arises, if you're not stable in your practice, then there won't be any liberation, but you will fall under the influence of the destructive emotions. And so that is why it is important to develop this stability in practice, in the session, in formal sessions, time during which you develop that kind of stability. The example that is given is of a knife. If you have a very sharp knife, like your meditation is very stable, it's like a very sharp knife, and it is able to cut everything. But then, if you have the kind of old knife that is not, sharp at all, you can try to cut, a lot of things with it. You will never manage. There would be a great deal of effort, and you won't be able to do a clean job anyway.
대장 냠니 튼데 지는 냠자 오좀 로테 켜봤다 냠니 요자 지톱 조람도 신이 저도 좀 마시나 니비 찌면 탑죠 나또 찌지 튀네 타말바를 줘베 나 지시 상탈도 좀 같이 해서 대 공을 시작 차례다 나또 레지면 주지 다 강리는 뒤당 내가 탐치듯이 뒤당 내가 탐치듯 대체양 공자 인지 처음 그게 냠자 죽었다와 되니다 마다는 안에 사비다 남도 탐지 지미 라이 가럽 메버지 곰 카칼 쪼고 말이다 주다 내가 탐지에 뒤되나 곰거트 쪼랑거트 가디는 진시가 럭방 믿지 찍고 대 마땅 그래지
You might have the sort of practice which makes you confident that you can keep up this state of meditation in proper sessions. Even so, if you do not understand how to integrate that practice with the activities of post-meditation and how to maintain it continuously, then this practice will not serve as a remedy when difficulties arise. When some discursive thought leads you off, you will sink back into very ordinary things. This is why it is so crucially important to abide in that all-penetrating state of awareness after meditation. And so this is what we've just explained. And so it says all the time and in any situation in the root text. So all the time and in any situation, we need to, we shouldn't try to seek for anything else on which to meditate. Instead, it says, in a state of meditative equipoise that never parts from this very view of Dharmakaya, maintain a carefree nonchalance towards all actions and all thoughts, without suppressing or indulging them, but letting things come and go, one after the other, and leaving them be. So, this is what was said. So, whether in a state of, whether in meditation, in a proper meditation session, or when engaging with different activities, it is important just to, there's nothing else to do, just to rest with the recognition of the nature of mind.
추추단 추적세바다 제추 예우도 좋아해 배나 추적직부 요랑장소 네 추추 가래 남도 직진이 오 대진은 대리 남도 로주질 꼬발이 요요 직진이 줄라 대 추도 체로 검점 남도 직체 체로 추추데 파이자들 추추 참제요래 추적이나 자완의 시랍 곰 시랍 약보지나 남도 강길에 니디미가 디디드 트파 대식성처나 애들이 나도 저래라 내 밤에 가요 오늘 추적이나 그래서 제추 요요도 좋아하면 하지 참 다들이 놀나 세는 남도 매가 남도 매가 말이 남도 샤와가 mënova 다때 공고래지 추적부 요랑 장소 남도 조성한테 죽을 줄 모르래. 죽고 요랑 장소.
So the text was saying so that we need to maintain that kind of carefree nonchalance towards all actions and all thoughts without suppressing or indulging them. And so that is as through the practice of trekchö, also called cutting resistance, or the aspect of Trulshik, destroying delusion. So, what is texture? Texture is when thoughts arise. Then, if we kind of follow after the thoughts, there's a first thought that comes. Oh, that was this thought, and then the second thought, and then third thought, and so on. There's a danger that the mind kind of get lost, in all the thoughts like this. If we just, kind of follow one after each one like this. So the texture is you cut through those thoughts. Whenever the thought arises, you just cut through the thought that is with the pet. When you say pet, for example, and cutting through directly the whatever thought arise, and this practice of this aspect of the practice called Trulshik, destroying delusion. So this requires first we need to have a good have established the wisdom quite well, and then if we've established the wisdom, then if the sharab, the aspect of sharab or wisdom is strong enough, then what happens is that there's hardly any grasping at the reality of things, any consideration of a reality of things, and so at that time, so there is the liberation or destruction of the delusion. Within that space of wisdom, then all delusion is destroyed. So as we maintain that wisdom, so that's the aspect of the Trulshik, and so. As the text says, so whatever arises, in all action, all thoughts, whatever comes, just let things come and go, one after another, and leave them be. And the root text says, abide by the flow of what is only Dharmakaya. That means that everything that arises, everything is just the flow of the Dharmakaya, just the Dharmakaya.
축구집부 요랑장들이 요랑디 축구집부 요랑들 럭바티 취죽거 럭바 취죽거디 빼 디보 차소나 남도 동이 빼 치보 근데 잡수 바랍다고 요롱 되게 세도 구조자 아마서나 다 참아 축구 요랑을 줘서래 다 누가 요망해 누가 내가 될 축구 요랑서 기도가 매샘 럭바사고 요복감니 동이 남도 강에 빼 속침을 냈네요. 샘대 구조 잡아서 봐. 샘띠보 르빠띠보 대토바대 죽어요라는 거예요. 르빠 이 구조 잡았더니 다 동이 저는 뭐 그랬더니 죽어요란 말이지.
So abide by the flow of what is only Dharmakaya. Abide by the flow of the Dharmakaya. This means that when you stable in the Rigpa, when your Rigpa is stable, then whatever arises, whatever thought come, whatever experience arises, even strong experience of pain or whatever arises, then that won't move that won't take you out of the Rigpa. You won't move away from the Dharmakaya, and so that's why it says maintaining the abide by the flow of what is only Dharmakaya. Anything that arises when the Rigpa is stable, then anything that arise within the context of the Rigpa, of within the Dharmakaya, and even strong emotions or experiences do not move it. We stay within that flow of the Dharmakaya. Because if we do not, if the Rigpa is not so strong, so when a strong experience of pain, for example, rises, then we start crying and things like that, or have different experiences in this way. But then when it is within the flow of the Dharmakaya, then they cannot change it, move it, and it just stays, and they are liberated within that space.
대답은냐면 르뽕고 실하 예미 르뽕고 다다 아소고 르빠는 원디 르빠디 실하 예미리지 노소를 신의 상동도 전에 신의 되나 섬랑지 그 내용화도 신의 대인원이 상통들은 세군내로 싸고 들이 라리랑 쌀때 상통 들이 따다 신라 예미 되나 남보고 내 밤에가 신에 들이 신라 싸워요 봐들 상통 신라 송독 신라 송족 따레스 신라 송족 따와대 주제 용문 남겨서 주제되나 신라 주제되나 남보고 내 밤에가 주제 주라고 그래 남보고 좀 봐주는 주제 용을 주바시 용거래 남보고 내 밤에가 돼 주자서 다 맹대 돌면 동고도 소리 동고도 듣지 봐 주고 요랑대라 참아대 고래 그래서 주자 용문 남겨서
A practice such as this, which is the indivisible union of shamatha and vipassana, of the essence of Rigpa, the yoga of the natural state, free from elaboration, the uncontrived and innate, the abiding by the face of the intrinsic nature of reality, is the heart of the practice of all the tantras of the secret mantra Vajrayana. So a practice such as this, as we've been describing, which is the indivisible union of shamatha and vipassana. So, shamatha is the remaining in the nature of mind, in the nature of things. This aspect of remaining, and the of being undistracted, of being unharmed by the different thoughts that arise, unaffected or unharmed by the thought that arise. And whereas the vipassana has this aspect of the clarity of seeing clearly the nature of things, and so this is the sign when those two aspects are there. This is the union of the shamatha and vipassana. He says the yoga of the natural state, free from elaboration. So free from elaboration means that cannot be harmed or affected by the concepts. Whatever namtok, whatever thought, whatever concepts arise, they cannot harm or affect in any way. So this is what a tradal or free from elaboration means. So this is the name, free from elaboration, but what it refers to is that it is a state which is unaffected by whatever namtok thought may arise.
주자 용문 남절 마뷰 hin지 기바 마뷰 hin지 기바 균이 랑오 종화데스 마뷰 hin지 기바 가리 랑게 생부 내용디 남도도 좀바 강양 마접바 생장마 될 마뷰지 hin지 기바도 랑게 생디 랑따따데 유이마 다다 그저 생 미모 보다 이시지 냠데요래 니몽도 이시 냠도 요래 뒤가니 이시도 시소는 니몽지 식도 요래 이시지 메다 버나 니몽도 부신다 버 식도 요래 이시고 마신들이 이시지 니몽가 왕도 저 팔라로 요라 될지니 신직집이 시소 그저 용문 남절지니 준데 요래 맞기 신직집이다 랑게 셈 싸움하더래. 회지 기바데 다다가 셈 내려야지. 다리 옹호투 그걸 나빠따는 또 때때버데 해도 때때부 등은 곰잡 때들은 때를 시작해 되어래. 이야한테 랑한테 대왕한테 곰잡 때를 시작해 오래. 이는 판처사요 말이야. sembu nelu dari shekhi yore, sante dina. Meng ma pata kalaro.
So a practice such as this, which is the indivisible union of shamatha and vipassana, vipassana of the essence of Rigpa, the yoga of the natural state free from elaboration, the uncontrived and innate, the abiding by the face of the intrinsic nature of reality. So it says here, so uncontrived and innate. So it is innate because it is within it is the nature of mind, the wisdom that is the nature of mind, which is present already within ourselves, and it is only so it is present and obscured by the destructive emotions and so on, by the different obscurations. But so therefore the mind, the nature of mind, the wisdom of the nature of mind, and the destructive emotion are both there present together and within ourselves. And the destructive emotions obscure this primordial wisdom. But then the primordial wisdom, if we abide by that, has the capacity, the ability to burn away all the destructive emotions, like the wisdom being like the fire, and the destructive emotions and so on, all those obscurations, like firewood. And so, but then if we don't do that, if we don't abide by the wisdom and burn away all those destructive emotions, then we fall prey to those destructive emotions and get kind of lost in the samsara, following after all those different thoughts. And so that's why here the text says innate, so this primordial wisdom which is innate, already present within ourselves. And this wisdom is a very pure state of mind, you could say, or it is very pure, and this is the only thing that we need to meditate on, just actualizing the primordial wisdom, because this primordial wisdom is the ground, it is the path, it is the fruition. There's no need for anything else, and so it is the nature of mind. There are different names that are given, can be called the primordial wisdom or the nature of mind.
rāngi rīkpa ngō rāngi chōng tu jitī, rāngi rāngi chōng mā tu yīn yō mā rīchī. Rāngi rīkpa ngō tōng jitā tā tīngā na dē tapā tēne, sāngā dōr jitā pa jīdī ñamnī tamchē jī nīmbō. Wāng jīpa tōng jī shī zōng, sāngā wāng kāmni wāng jīpa tōng jī shī zōng. Wāng tamchē dāni tsāwā wāng jīpa rī. 대지 생문대로 오대 봐. 대야 동치바래. 동지이시. 네가 두주 이민의 최추. 다 겨우 산인 중이 유바당 제바 탐지 공부 마음에 봐. 다 깊이 장장난 건데. 겨우 산인 좀다 탐지 너는 나기. 단히 잘해 돼. 하고나.
So this kind of practice is the heart of the practice of all the tantras of the secret mantra Vajrayana. And so it is the ultimate wisdom of the fourth empowerment. It is a speciality, the wish-fulfilling gem of the practice lineage. It is the flawless wisdom mind of all accomplished masters and their lineages, of India and Tibet, of both old, that is the Nyingma, or new Sarma traditions. So this abiding, so by that the nature of mind. So as we just said, this is the only thing to do, is to abide by this primordial wisdom, the nature of mind, and in that, so that is the very heart of all the practices and all the practices of the tantras of the secret mantra Vajrayana, which culminate into the ultimate wisdom of the fourth empowerment. And so the ultimate wisdom of the fourth empowerment is the same as this wisdom that we've been, talking about here. And it is the specialty, the wish-fulfilling gem of the practice lineage. So of all those great masters of the past, it is very much like the flawless, the perfect kind of heart of their practice. And so that is, if we understand that we realize, it is like finding a very, very precious jewel, to realize this.
네 주미들 또 동치보리 저반이 봤던 니다고 공부 또네 들이 사직을 살아 폐송 참치게 나도 공부 찍던 투인했더니 공부 마음에 받들어 탐제들로 공부 튼다. 오래. 뒤섬지 산지에 탐제 공부한다는 토는 그거래. 뒤섬했더니 공부 마음에 봐. 임베 쭉 잡아 쭉 탐제 잡아. 다 건드상 모양들 났다고 그래. 건드상 뭐지? 쭉 잡아 쭉 탐제도 잡아. 건드상 보러 쭉. 까지 출상 보래 했어. 마음이 봐 이제 대라 로타 제라지 뒤는 랑그 생부 내려는데 딱 뒤섬지 사지에 탐지 님도 안 돼. 동도 송아들이 사지 다 난그 사지 니송 되나 사지 설리자리 해야요 말 사지 낭자고 그래지 뒤따와는 통로들이 사지가 용티 하고 그래 문이 따와도 뭐 대면 사지 요미 대통령으로 같이 그 사지 가요리 오 사지 요를 다 사지시에서 다들 주인라 고여서리 요 대통령 아무도 메이데 해야 아무도 다 것도 특성적이라 다 세부대로 또 드니 이니 다 사지에 됐다 그래 대들이 될 생들로 꼬선 거 이거 있다 요러가 드니 대디 시지 그래 세부대로 가디 통나 사지에 대디 통거래
It is the flawless wisdom mind of all accomplished masters and their lineages. So that is, it says flawless. So wisdom mind of all accomplished masters. That is, of all of them, not just one or two of them, but all of them. It is the same. It is this the same wisdom mind. Same intent, enlightened intent of all those great masters, and it is flawless. It is without any fault, any kind of problem. It is a little bit, she says, like samantabhadra. Samantabhadra means always good. It's never, it doesn't have any problem or faults or anything like that. Samantabhadra. So it is this always good samantabhadra kind of. So that's this wisdom mind. And which is the wisdom minds of all the accomplished masters and their lineage. And so it says, so decide on this with absolute conviction and do not hanker after other pith instructions, your mouth watering with an insatiable appetite and greed. So it is important to recognize therefore this and how this Buddha within ourselves. Whenever we realize the wisdom, then we see the Buddha, and we shouldn't have any doubt about that. Because sometimes people do kind of have doubts. Well, where is the Buddha? How is the Buddha? And it is difficult. There's no kind of form to see or kind of particular features. It's pretty difficult to grasp. We try to see the Buddha, but we can't. And because we need to know that the Buddha is not to be found outside. The Buddha is within ourselves, and it is when we turn inwards and we realize this inherent wisdom within ourselves. And when we actualize this inherent wisdom, the nature of mind within ourselves, then we see the Buddha. Within that, the three kayas are complete, and so this we need to be clear about.
대답으로 로타 제라스 명아 이는 점점 마당을 마제 나서 명아 인 강래 我们定这个报道，他龙岛的八个敌人拍下来的，我们打完，这铁窗机上就打龙岛的被敌人拍过，车马的把对了，说我敌人拍那，车马，他们这敌人拍，车马激到里面的，他激到不都是，这里多你敌人拍回我了吧？这里铁窗机忙不进上这里，他这里从哪里叫我的？这边娘哩是那个举办了，全部那路的通成了，这里。 니는 마도요 말이지. 내가 이치 맞게네. 명아 이는 다 다른 롱다를 비지선 장되는니 랑보 첨도 전에 랑이 나서 쳐왔다. 랑그 생고 내로 파잖아. 다 다른 게 빼야라. nga dabli nga kawado nga solso pe niya yomara pero dombo chibodo na Roma yaga patakieta na ta chukawe 너무 싸지 너무 싸 초나 너무 싸지 폴데이 싸지 좀 건도 뭐 대하고도 오랑 생동대로 하고 나한테 적성다 뭐 빼는 말아래 봐 롱진남 야던지 롱진남 야는 됐어 내로 또나 투바 공는 메시 개고네들이 담을링들다 양양도 롱진남냐 개봐요 라빠형이 바로도서 막 롱진남냐 내lok도는 투바공을 매세나 생고 내lok도는 투방 탈선 처리다 대송대 민간으로 뭐서 내lok도는 투바공을 매세 투바 탐식은 초래했다 기분 초 내lok도 투바공을
So again, it says, decide on this with absolute conviction and do not anchor after other pith instructions or like other kind of instructions, like it says, Madhyamika reasonings and so on. So when you've realized this nature, when you've been introduced to the nature of mind, you've seen the this primordial wisdom of the nature of mind, then there's no point of going to search elsewhere for this. And to go to receive all sorts of teachings, and like, for example, the approach of the in the Madhyamika, using the reasoning and using inference and valid cognition in order to, what you do is that you examine, all the things, all the different things, all the possibility, till in the end you find that there's nothing that can be established by means of this valid cognition. So you use the valid cognition to come to the limit, to the end of the valid cognition, and there's nothing. This is emptiness. And so that's how you get to that kind of realization. But now if you already have that realization, then there's no point of going into search and get all sorts of teachings on the... It is a little bit like a example of a tree. There's the trunk, and then from the trunk, and there's all those branches that rise and leaves and so on. But then if you just cut the trunk, you just have the trunk, then, that's it. There's not all those many different aspects. And so it's the same, when you have the wisdom there, then you rest with that wisdom, and you don't need to go for, as it says, your mouth watering with an insatiable appetite and greed for other teachings. And otherwise it is like keeping your elephant at home and looking for its footprints in the forest. You walk into the trap of unending mental research, and then liberation will never have a chance. So therefore you must decide on your practice and decide with absolute conviction that there is nothing other than this. So it is important to understand that we shouldn't, that the wisdom, once we've realized this wisdom, then there's nothing further, there's nothing more that we should go and that we could, get anywhere else. And that is what this great master Longchenpa has said. Longchenpa is very much like it's like the highest of all masters, is completely with all the best and most supreme qualities. And so this supreme master said that if you realize the nature of thing, then there's nothing more to get. There's nothing more to receive than that. So very much showing that once you get, the nature of mind, you've realized this, then you shouldn't go, being distracted with those sort of things, but very much rest with this.
저거는 케바 케바를 랭니요래 책랑 케바다 동랑 케바 니요래 책랑 케바데 로접차 망볼냐 요디 양나양 생분대로 마도는 케바 차트고요 말이지 동도 듣고 말이지 이제 또 강리 네 말이 간도 덤니니 케바 돌하고요 그랬지 럼보 대바지 돌하고요 그랬지 건초를 대바체 준비 뭐란 거 생분대로 또 소나 때 람상 돌투 그래서 배나 루제 쯤에서도 그걸 준비하는 거냐니 로타 추고 배나도 이 르빠 이시치 본데라 사제 것은 거 용디 상구조래 그 사제 것은 거 용디 상소나 라동라 추고 야사 드리신 거요래 이동은 조건이가 로동 드리지 거요래 대주 인다 가르고 그래 다 만들기 직장요 말아
So, in terms of so the practice, you need to really know this and to have that kind of deep experience. And when it comes to being, learned, knowledgeable about the teachings, there's two types of learned person. There's those who are learned in the words of the teachings, and those who are learned in the meaning. And, now, those who are learned in the words, however many years they've studied, they can have studied for decades, but that won't help them so much to gain liberation. That is, you won't be able to gain the liberation just on the basis of this knowledge of the words, because this kind of knowledge is just knowing this is like that, this is not like this is not like that, and all those kind of distinctions. So you're very knowledgeable about that, but that's not so much help when it comes to time to gain liberation. On the other hand, if you just know the nature of mind, if you just realize that and abide by that, then it's very easy to liberate. Then, because then if you have that within the wisdom of Rigpa, all the qualities of the three kayas are complete. They're all there, and so it says that when we realize the wisdom, then we've reach the stronghold of the Dhammakaya for oneself, and we also attain the Rupa Kayas, the form Kayas, for the sake of others.
Dela samchin dere longdo debejima samchin. Dela wang dang damsek. Hada nang zo wang je damsek re. Damsek 강지로 왕 토바대야. 따왕 공수로랑 왕 토크요래. 따랑 왕 통도랑도 죽이 자사 드린 토크요래. 따왕 원 토리 공방 왕조제 담책래. 밤전에 뺀의 담책라 섭장화 선거 담책 섭장이야 하란데 하가 담책 예나 사마양 번데 그래. 뒤나 자와 고성토 담책 저거요래. 대양 톡거 담책된다고요래. 강리 톡은 르동 톡 돌제지. 르과송 서팅은 내들 르동 톡 돌제나. 자는 좀 용거 말이 작동성 돌제래지. zor는 좀 봐. 통디는 좀 봐 요 말이. 나동 거 돌제라 이거 요거요래. 르동 톡 돌제 메나. 찍는 좀 봐. 찍는 좀 봐 요거요래. 변되나. 르동 톡 돌제 송들 담책 담책 내린다고요래. 사마연 범대. 자와 고성톡 뒤능리 톡 담책은 되고요래. 뒤는 담책 따와인 말이요. 되네 담책 기사와 랑거 따와인 말이요. 되니 냠리 탐지 동 가려야 되나. 산지 좀 뒤되게 주풍 예체 예동 그 자와상 족생은 되소 취지 보고 예체 예동데 자와 니 세고 내록 독제 동남산 족생 또부터 코나리 이마송 바래 대통령이 람 jam동이도 람은 남절 바 제조라서 바 탐진 된데 배 로타 추고 배나 대레 이미 코타 게 답해줘 볼
So it says, make a decision then that this naked wisdom of Dharmakaya, naturally present, is the awakened state. So there is, in the secret annotation by Nyoshu Lungto Tempenima, it says that the empowerment and the samayas are the view. And so, and it says that then the samayas, what we call samaya, is the view that we maintain. And so this is to explain. So the empowerment is when we're introduced to the view of our true nature. When we're introduced to the nature of mind, so this is the empowerment. And the samaya is to abide in this state, to maintain the continuity of that recognition. And so all the samayas, so if we talk about samayas in more detailed way, elaborate way, we talk about 100,000 different kinds of samayas. But in a more condensed way, we can talk about the samaya of body, speech, and mind. All the 100,000 samayas are included within those three samayas of body, speech, and mind. And even more essentially, all three are included within the samaya of the mind. To explain that when the samaya of the mind is to abide by the recognition of Rigpa, by the empty of empty Rigpa, this union of emptiness and awareness. And so that is it's called the Vajra of or the Vajra mind, the samaya of Vajra mind of empty Rigpa. And within that, when we have that recognition, then we won't be grasping at any sound. And so the samaya of the speech is maintained. In the same way, we won't be grasping at any physical form. Everything will appear as the deity, and so there is no grasping as well at the form, and the samaya of the body is also maintained. And so therefore, if we maintain the samaya of the mind, then the samaya of body and speech are also maintained. But on the other hand, if we don't have the samaya of the mind, then the others won't also be applied. And so that's why it is the main one, and that if we maintain that one, then all the other samayas are maintained. So all the hundreds of thousands of samayas are all included within that samaya of the mind. And so that is why it is maintaining the continuity or the recognition of the Rigpa. And And so, and it says also, so Lungten Tepenima also said that the different aspects of the path, such as the refuge, Goyoga, Kyerim and Zogrim and so on, all those also are contained within this. And so we need to realize that all the teachings that the Buddha gave, the 84,000 different sections of the teachings, all the different teachings that the Buddha gave are included within this. They are all in there, in that realization. And so understanding also that by practicing this, then the practice of the Kyerim and Zogrim is also perfected. And so this, it says, we need to make a decision, to really come to make a strong decision, to be clear about this. And once we've decided once and for all that this is like this, this is important, that kind of certainty. And sorry, forgot, but Rinpoche added that once you've decided in this way, you're clear, it is certain, it is clear, it is like this, then you feel very good after that. There's no doubt, no nothing.
람 jorne zongte jedo dong tamji di chedre es perna te kare go lam nyam samji sanje semkin yekigre donde tavre donde chedar kin donde chekade sangere de semjire nder petene roma tamje kumaro diga demota ngendene jagare sanje semkin petere kumaro di 상계래 내 semjire do jire ene di da lam nyamni samje do di yabo jogo gore ene yabo jire do di ram yin dere do di 통통 de do da de 나시 건데 탐지 예적 람인 대변이 람적들이 대변적들 대 사지 대변들 semji 대변들.
So Rinpoche put this stone here, this crystal, as a kind of example of difference between sentient beings and Buddhas. So he asked that please do not take it away, don't steal it from him. You'd appreciate that. Can you see it can you show it on the video? Yeah. So because explain. So you see there's two sides on the stone. One which is very clear, you can see through it and you can see, and then one which is more kind of, so that side is like the sentient being. It's kind of rough and you can't see through. But then if you turn around, yes, that side, that you can see. So that's like the Buddhas. So it illustrates the example of you have one ground, two paths. So here you have just one stone. There's one face that you can see, clearly through. Everything is clear. And the other face, which is more blurred, you can't see anything through. And so in order to gain that clarity, you'll need to polish the stone and so on, that eliminate the obscuration. So that is the example to show that, to illustrate that, that expression, one ground, two paths. You have one ground, one stone, and then you have two paths, sentient beings or Buddhas.
Thank you, Jerome.